There are almost 200 official countries in the world today, but there are dozens more breakaway states, determined to be separate, but officially not recognized. Some survive peacefully with their own borders, money and presidents, but others are a magnet for terrorists and weapon smuggling, and have armies ready for a fight. Welcome to places that don't exist. Moldova, sandwiched between Romania and Ukraine, gained independence after the collapse of the Soviet Union. 2/3 of the people were of Romanian descent and wanted closer ties with neighbours to the west. But the eastern side of the country wanted to retain close links with Ukraine and Russia. War broke out, and the east split to form Transnistria, a new country which even now remains unrecognised by the rest of the world. My journey began in Chisinau, the capital of Moldova, where I visited a Civil War memorial with my guide Liliana.
This is a monument to the glory of those who died for the independence and the integrity of the country.
Presumably these are all Moldovan soldiers rather than Transnistrian as well.
These are definitely those who fought on the Moldovan side.
So what actually happened in the war?
Transnistrian separatists attacked Moldova. They were afraid that Moldova is moving closer to the European Union and Romania first of all. Russia backed up Transnistrian separatists. The fights stopped after the intervention of the Russian president at that time, Boris Yeltsin. It's been an uneasy ceasefire. It's kind of like a Cold War that is still lasting between those two sides.
I arrived in Moldova on Independence Day. Vladimir Voronin, the president of Moldova, was leading a service to commemorate those who died during the fighting with Transnistria. Around 1,500 people were killed on both sides in the war, but the rest of the world barely noticed.
Although it's Independence Day in Moldova, they don't actually celebrate this in Transnistria, although officially, obviously, they're one country. In Transnistria, they have their own Independence Day in a few days' time.
But not everyone was celebrating independence.
What was she singing?
She was singing "Широка страна моя родная," which means great and wide and large is my country. It was a song about Russia. It's quite provocative to sing this kind of song on the Independence Day of Moldova, and this independence is seen first of all as independence from Russia.
The woman was taken away by the police. Most people in Moldova earn less than £2 a day. The conflict with Transnistria hasn't helped. Away from the towns, work is scarce and unemployment is high.
We're not going to make it up there, are we? When you get outside the capital of Moldova, you realise this is actually a very poor country, and officially it's supposed to be the poorest country in Europe. And we've come to this village in the southwest of the country where we've been told that villagers have come up with a rather extreme method of earning some extra cash.
Simon Reeve.
32 men in this village have sold one of their kidneys to Westerners desperate for a transplant. Most were paid no more than £2,000.
Do you know what happened to your kidney? Do you know who received it?
It went to a woman around 40. I saw her. She was preparing for the transplant.
Did she speak to you? Did you have any conversation with her?
I never spoke to her. She had been given the anesthetic, so she was unconscious.
What did you do with the money?
First I bought a cow, then I renovated the house. I bought a washing machine and clothes for the kids. That was it was all gone.
In many Moldovan villages, only children and grandparents remain. Young adults have gone abroad in search of work.
The little one here hasn't seen her mother for 5 months. Her mother's gone to Moscow, so she can't get a job here, so she's gone to Russia to earn some money.
Around 1 million Moldovans are thought to have left the country. We'd been invited to meet the president at his official villa. On our way, Liliana explained why Transnistria matters to him.
For President Voronin, this is a personal issue because he's born there. His mother lives in Transnistria, and for Voronin that's also a personal matter. Especially that for the past 2 years he hasn't been allowed at all to go there, to travel, to cross the river and see his mother. So yes, it is a very important issue for President Voronin. If I'm not surprised, that's the president in his jeans.
Let's go and say hello.
Маленькая, 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 маленькая. Вот консфоры. Маленькая, маленькая, красивая, красивая, хорошая, хорошая.
It has very nice spots.
Did he say that it had spots like President Gorbachev?
Yes.
It's a true communist cat. The cynical side of me thinks he's replaced here. Just so we see what a lovely chap he is. Do you want us to carry you?
I'll go this way.
Liliana has got her high heels. Because like me, she thought we'd be in an office having a chat. So we all got dressed up, which now transpires was a bit of a mistake.
Look at those, look at those.
The president had decided to take us fishing.
Wow. Why should the rest of the world be worried about the Transnistrian situation? What's going on there that the rest of Europe should be concerned about?
480 kilometri de hotarea Republicii Moldova.
Moldova has a 480-kilometer border with the Ukraine, and the section in Transnistria is not controlled. And via this there's uncontrolled migration, contraband, arms trafficking, the trafficking of human beings and drugs. These operations are being legitimized by the separatist regime. It's a black hole of corruption and trafficking. There are 13 enterprises in Transnistria that are producing arms non-stop.
The president cut short his allegations because he'd caught a fish.